And just like that, we are now live. Hello, audience at home. Thank you so much for joining our show right now. Thank you for coming to see the Scottish play, which is what I will be calling it for the next 2 minutes as I talk to you. This is, for those who don't know, a cursed play. And the stories behind what has happened to some of these productions are pretty fascinating and pretty dire. During the opening production ever, supposedly one of the principal actors died, I believe, backstage, and that forced Mr. Shakespeare himself to hop on stage and take the role. There was another very famous incident in America that happened with two rival productions of this show that ended up spawning a street brawl and a riot that ended up spilling onto the stages with many more injuries. There have been instances of actors catching fire, quite literally, when a famous actor's tights were mysteriously soaked in kerosene. The list goes on and on and on. So this really poses two questions for most theater goers. First of all, why would anyone do this play? Because for those who don't know, actors were kind of a superstitious lot. And yet, this show has been in continual production since it was written, which is a long time. So obviously, the curse has not been discouraging people. And the other question people might ask is, TYR, why would you do this as a Zoom play when you are incredibly reliant on tech? We're pretty much just daring the fates to have somebody get disconnected. Which might happen. Let's be honest. It might happen. But the answer to why we do this, I think, is twofold. The first is it's a really fantastic play. It's a really interesting one. It's such an interesting exploration of ambition and when we lose ourselves in the pursuit of it, and the consequences and the examination of guilt and what that does to a person. It's very interesting. And the other answer is, why do this as a Zoom show? Why do it now? Why do a cursed show in what many would argue is already a cursed year? And the answer with that actually comes down to it is actually rooted in our students. And it's rooted in how impressed we at TYR have actually been with our student body and the way they have made the most and adapted to everything that's been thrown at them this last year. I mean, a year ago when everybody ran inside, no one was sure if theater would even exist until this was done. TYR students have found a way to make it exist in a new format, in new mediums, but have been still telling stories, pursuing their art form, creating amazing characters, and really bringing energy and creativity. And the fact is, not even a pandemic has stopped these actors. That's incredible. And doing a show like this is not going to stop them. That is really the lesson I've taken. No matter how difficult, no matter what is in front, these students are rolling with the punches, adapting on the fly, being flexible. And as someone who's spent their entire professional career preaching those exact things, I could not be more proud, nor could I fail to take the bait of doing this show. Before we begin, I do need to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Fruitvale Optometry, who have been wonderful in supporting us through financially difficult times, as well as Alameda Children's Musical Theater, who were pivotal in helping us getting started right when our program was kicking off, and also have been really wonderful in coming in with support for us at the end of what we hope to be the end of the COVID era. I also want to point out that there is one more performance of this cast tomorrow at 2. If you like it and want to see them swing again. And there is also another cast that had a completely different version that closed earlier today, but you can still watch on replay. Our summer registration is open. We are dipping our toe back into some in-person instruction with some very small, intimate camps. We are doing our old Best of Broadway. We're doing several games things, some in the park, and also some D&D. We're doing Roaring 20s Come Again. We're doing a cosplay camp. We're doing something called Last Year in Review, where students will write and produce their own sketches about this last year, which should be interesting. So check out our website for all of that if any of that sounds of interest. And finally, before we start, if you like what we do and you want to support what we do, I want to point out there is a donate link in the YouTube description. And anything you can spare helps us continue doing what we love and hopefully what you do as well. So, it's about time, I think, and that means it is time for a us to throw caution. That sound effect came early. It is time for us to throw caution to the winds. So, without further ado, please enjoy Macbeth.
When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly sun, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun. Where's the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth. I
Paddock calls.
And there is foul.
And foul is fair.
Hover through the fog and filthy air.
What bloody man is that? Can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt, the new estates.
This is the sergeant, who like a good and hearty soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless Macdonald showed like a rebel's whore, but all's too weak, for brave Macbeth, well, he deserves that name, like valor's minion, carved out a passage till he faced the slave and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Valiant cousin, worthy gentleman.
No sooner justice had, with valor armed, compelled these skipping currents to trust their heels, but the Norwegian land, surveying the vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo.
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons, overcharged with double cracks, so they redoubled strokes upon the foe. But I am faint. My gashes cry for help.
So all thy wounds become thee as thy words. They smack of honor both. Go, get him surgeons. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bellana's bridegroom, lapped with proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, curbing his lavish spirit, and, to conclude, the victory fell on us!
Great happiness!
That now we know the Norway's king craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men, until he disperse it at St. Colm's Inch, $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive her bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
swine. Where hast thou been, sister? Sister, where thou? A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Arianthe, which the rum-fed ruddian cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone. Master the tiger, but in a sieve all thither sail, and like a rat without a tail. I'll do, and I'll do. I'll give thee a wind, and I another. I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know I the shipman's card. I'll drain him dry as hay, shall sleep neither night nor day. Hang upon his penthouse lid, he shall live, a man forbid. Weary 7 9 times 9, shall he dwindle, peak and pined. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have. Show me, show me. Here I have a pilot's thumb, racked as homeward he did come. A drum, Macbeth doth come. The weird sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land. Must us go about, thrice to the mine and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the drum's wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is it called to Forres? What are these, so withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it?
Speak if you can. What are you?
All hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis! All hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor! Hail, Macbeth, that shall be king hereafter.
My noble partner, you great with present grace and great prediction, of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which shall not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail! 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 Lesser than Macbeth, and greater. Not so happy, yet much happier. Shalt get kings, but thou shalt be none. So I'll hail Banquo and Macbeth. Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
What? How of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor was a prosperous gentleman. And to be king? That's not within the prospect of belief.
Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why you stop our way with prophetic greetings.
Your children shall be kings!
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so?
To the self-same tune and words. Who's there?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success.
We are thus sent to give thee from our real master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, In which edition, hail, most worthy thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life, which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did aid the rebel with hidden help and vantage in his country's wrack, I know not. But treason's capital confessed and proved have overthrown him.
Look how our partner's wrapped. Thanks for your pains.
Do you not hope your children shall be kings when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That, trusted home, might yet enkindle you unto the throne, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes twin us to our harm. The instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence.
This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why do I feel earnest of success? If good, why do I yield to foul suggestion? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings, and nothing is but what is not.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
If chance will have me king-wide, chance may crown me without my stir. Come what come may, time and the hour runs to the roughest day.
Come, my friend, think upon what hath chance, and at more time let us speak our free hearts to each other.
His execution done on Cawdor. For those in commission you have returned.
My liege, I spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that he confessed treason and implored your pardon. Nothing in his life became him like believing it.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now is heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hast less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payments might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee fully grown. Noble Banquo, thou hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves. We will establish our state upon our eldest, Malcolm, who we name hereafter Prince of Cumberland. Which honor must, not unaccompanied, invest him only. But signs of nobleness, like stars, shall shine on all deservers, from hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach.
My worthy Cawdor!
The Prince of Cumberland. That's a step on which I must fall down or leap. In my way it lies.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title, before these weird sisters saluted me and referred me to the coming on of time with a hail king that shall be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily, wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who, wert so, would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true. Our Thane is coming.
The raven himself is hoarse, that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctuous visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor make peace between the effect and it. Oh, come, thou thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold. Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all hail hereafter.
My dearest love!
Duncan comes here tonight.
And goes hence tomorrow as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch.
Castle hath a pleasant seat. The air sweetly and nimbly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
The air is delicate.
See, our noble hostess. The love that follows us sometimes is our trouble, which still we think is love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God yield us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service were poor and single business to contend against those honors deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our house.
Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces towards him.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. Yeah, but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all, but we jump the life to come. He's here in double trust. First as I am his kinsman and his subject strong both against the deed. Then, as his host who should against his murderer shut the door and not bear the knife myself.
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
We shall proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late. And I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be warm not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk, wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time to try account thy love. Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem?
I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. I know how 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail!
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his 2 chamberlains will I, with wine and wassail, so convince that memory. The warder of the brain shall be a fume. When in a swinish sleep their drenched natures lies as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers who shall bear the guilt of our great quell? And we have marked with blood those sleepy 2 of his own chamber, and used their very daggers. Who dares receive it other?
My undaunted mettle composes me. Away, and mock the time with the fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me these cursed thoughts that sleep gives way to in repose. What? Friend, not yet at rest, the king's abed. He hath been an unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. I dreamt last night of the 3 weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth.
I think not of them.
Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and my allegiance clear. I shall be counseled.
Good repose the while, my friend.
Thanks, sir. The likes to you.
Is a dagger which I see before me? Handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation? Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. still see thee. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What? Who?
Alack! I am afraid they have awaked, and 'tis not done. The attempt, not the deed, confounds us. Hark, I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss 'em. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. My husband?
I have done the deed. Did thou not hear a noise?
Now?
There's one did laughs and sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and address them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening their fear, I could not say amen.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore I could not pronounce amen? I had most need of the blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
His deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more, Macbeth doth murder sleep, Bloms hath murdered sleep, and Carter shall sleep no more, Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go, get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hands. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no further. I am afraid to think what I've done.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
How is when every noise appalls me? Oh, great Neptune's ocean, wash this blood clean from my hand.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. Don your nightgown lest occasion call us, and show us to be watchers, not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
Wake Duncan with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
Knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have old turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. In the name of Beelzebub, come in time. Knock, knock. it is the other devil's name. Faith, here's an equivocator that could equivocate and swear in both the scales against either scale, but could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator! Knock, knock, knock. Who's there?
Was it so late, friends, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir. We were carousing till the second cock, and drink, sir, the great provoker of 3 things.
What 3 things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, provokes and unprovoked. It provokes the desire, but takes away the performance.
I believe drink gave me the lie last night.
That it did, sir, his very throat on me, but I requited him for his lie, and I think being strong for it. Oh, he took up my legs sometime. Yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring?
Oh, knocking has awakened him. Good morrow, good Macbeth.
Is the king stirring, worthy Thane?
Not yet.
You did command me to call timely on him. I've almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, strange lamentings heardeth the air, strange screams of death. Some say the earth was feverish and shook.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh, horror, horror, horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the building.
This you say? A life?
Mean you, his majesty?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself! Up, up, and see the great doom's image!
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house? Speak! Speak!
O gentle lady, it is not for you to hear what I can speak. Oh, Banquo, Banquo, our royal master is murdered.
Whoa! Alas, what, in our house?
Dear Duff, I prithee, contradict thyself and say it is not so.
And I but died an hour before this chance, I would have lived a blessed time. Within this instance of mysterious immortality.
What is amiss?
You are and do not know it.
The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
The expedition of my violent love outrun the pause of reason.
Help me hence! How?
Look to the lady!
And when we have our naked frailties hid, that suffer an exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. Against the undivulged pretense, I fight of treasonous malice.
So do I.
Why do you hold your tongue when most may claim this argument for yours?
What should be spoken here? For my fate, hidden in an auger hole, may rush and seize me. My tears are not yet brewed.
What will you do?
I'll not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England. This murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lighted, and her safest way is to avoid the aim.
Threescore and 10, I can remember well, within the volume of such time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange, but this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Thou seest the heavens as troubled by man's act, that threatens his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. Is't night's predominance or the day's shame? That darkness does the faith of earth entomb, when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done.
How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is't known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Alas the day, what good could they pretend?
They were suborns. Malcolm, the king's son, has stolen away and fled, which puts upon him suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still, thriftless ambition shall raven up thine own life's means. Then 'tis most like the sovereignty shall fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Combekill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and garden of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, all to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu. Lest our old robes sit easier than our new.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua.
Thou hast it now, King, Cawdor, Glamis. All as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playest most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest. Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, but we'll take tomorrow. Is it far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast. Goes your son with you?
Fleance does so. Our time does call upon us.
Farewell. Satan! Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo he chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head, they placed a fruitless crown. For Banquo's issue have I filed my mind, for them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, to make them kings, the seeds of Banquo kings. There. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness, and we have considered of thy speeches.
We did so and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Banquo is our sworn enemy.
You now find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world hath so incensed that I am reckless what I do despite the world.
Banquo is your enemy.
True, my lord.
So is he mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight, and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. And hence it is that I to your assistance do make love.
We shall, my lord, perform as ye command us.
Must be done tonight. Cleon's his son who keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour.
We are resolved, my lord.
It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Naught's had, all's spent, where our desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. Oh dear my lord, why do you keep alone using these thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on? Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. Ere will we eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams.
Come on, gentle my lord. Be bright and jovial among your guests.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his fleance lives.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, whiles night's black agents to their praise do rouse.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth!
Best, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do, the direction of death.
Stand with us.
Hark, I hear horses.
Tis he.
Fleance your horse. It'll be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Oh, tree! Fly, good Fleance! Fly!
But who did strike out the lights?
was not the way.
There's but one down. The sun has fled. We have lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and see how much was done.
gross contriver of all harm.
Was never called to bear my part.
Or show the glory of our art. Great business must be wrought ere noon. And that, filled by magic sleights, shall raise such artificial sprites
as by the strength of their illusion
shall draw him on to hidden confusion. Meet us in the morning. Meet us in the morning. Meet us in the morning.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. Ourselves will mingle with society and play the humble hosts. For my heart speaks, you all are welcome.
My king.
Be large in mirth. Anon we'll drink a measure, the table round. There's blood upon thy face.
'Tis Banquo's son. My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best o' the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance.
Most royal sir, Banquo's son has escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I'd else been perfect. Now get thee gone.
My worthy lord, you do not give the cheer. Now good digestion wait on appetite.
And health on both!
May it please your highness sit?
Here had we now our country's honor roofed with a graced person of our Banquo present.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please it your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is it that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it! Never shake thy gory locks at me!
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought, he will again be well. If much you know him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. See, and regard him not. Are you a man?
Look upon that sight!
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan's chamber. When all's done, you look but on a stool.
Behold! Look low, how say you? Why? What care I? Thou canst not speak too!
What? Quite unmannered folly.
If I stand here, I saw him!
Why? For shame.
The time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Avaunt! And quit my sight, let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless! Thy blood is cold, thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with!
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other. Only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare? I dare! Think any shape but that of my firm nerve shall never tremble! Answer in shadow! Why so? Being gone, I am a man again.
My lords, good night. Pray, go at once.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. What sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. I will tomorrow to the Weird Sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know.
My former speeches have hit your thoughts, which can interpret farther. Only I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth, Mary he was dead, and your white, valiant Banquo walked too late. Whom you may say, if it please you, Felons killed, for Felons fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot have the thought of how monstrous it was for the young Malcolm, the late king's son, to kill his gracious father? Damn, in fact, how it grieved Macbeth. Did not straight and pious rage the two delinquents care that were slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was it not nobly done? Aye, and wisely so, 'twould angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that I say, he has borne all things well. Sir, can you tell me where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, for whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received by the most pious Edward with much grace. Thither Macduff is gone, to pray the king to wake Northumberland and warlike seaward. And by the help of these we may again do faithful homage and receive free honors, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so exasperated the king that he prepares for some attempt at war.
Sent he to Macduff?
He did, and with an absolute "Sir, not I," the cloudy messenger turns me his back.
And that one might advise under caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England, and fold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this, our suffering country, under our hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed. Thrice
and once the hedge pig wide.
Rise, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Sweltered venom sleeping got, boil thou first I the charmed pot. Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of a finny snake in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of Newton, toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing. For a charm of powerful trouble, like hell broth boil and bubble.
Toil, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, ma and gulf. One ravine salt sea shrank, root of hemlock diggeth the dark, for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double
toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Round about the cauldron sing, like elves and fairies in a ring.
By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes.
How now, you secret hags? What if you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess. However you come to know it, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
I'll answer. Say if thou wouldst rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call 'em. Let me see 'em.
Pour in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 pharaoh. Grease that sweatin' from the murderer's gibbet. Throw into the flame. Come high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. You wear Macduff. You wear the Thane of Fife. Enough.
One word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Macduff? What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure.
He lie in metal, proud and take no care, who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Birnam wood to high Duncan and hill shall come again.
That will never be! Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix its earthbound root? And yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Shall Banquo's issue rule in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied! Deny me this! No!
Show!
Show his eyes and grieve his heart.
Come like shadows, so depart.
me this? What? Is this so?
Aye, sir. All this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprites, and show the best of our delights. Then this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome pay.
Where are they? Gone! Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride! And damned all those that trust them!
My lord. A writer sent to bring you word. Macduff has fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my lord.
The very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. This evening the castle of Macduff I will surprise. Give to the edge all the fortunate souls that trace him in his wine. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before the purpose.
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men, bestride our downfall birthdom.
This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. That which thou art my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell.
I would not be the villain that thou thinkest, for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp.
Be not offended, I speak not in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. But my poor home shall have more vices than it had before, by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, bearing every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none, to my voluptuousness, my desire. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness to dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
I have not the king becoming graces, as justice, verity, temperance, stableness. I have no relish of them, but abound in division, several crime, acting it in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth. If such a one be fit to govern, speak! I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live, O nation miserable! When shalt thou see thy wholesome days again, since the truest issue of thy throne, by his own interdiction, stands accursed? Fare thee well, these evils thou repeatest itself upon me, hath banished me from Scotland. O my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, and reconciled my heart to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth hath by many of these trains sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from overcredulous haste. But God above, deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature. What is mine is thine, and my poor country's to command. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile.
My lords, the Thane of Wrath has come.
My ever gentle cousin, welcome hither. Stay in Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It could not be called our mother but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile.
What is the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
Be not so veiled with your speech. How goest?
When I came thither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows who were out. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like, but I have words that would be howled out into the desert air.
What concern they? The general cause?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard. Your castle is surprised, your wife and babe savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner of, or on the quarry of these murdered deer, to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven! What, man? Never pull your hat upon your brows. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
My children too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too?
I have said.
He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, okay, all?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were the most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff. They were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine. They'll slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes, and braggart with my tongue. But gentle heavens, cut short all intermission, front to front. Bring down this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length set him. If he escape, heaven forgive him too.
Beth is ripe for shaking. The powers above put on their instruments.
Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never sees the day.
2 nights' watch with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I've seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, write upon it, read it, fold it, seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this is while in a most fast sleep.
In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most you should.
Neither to you nor anyone having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise. Upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, and close.
You see her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense are shut.
What is it? What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her, to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her to continue in this quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
She speaks. Set down what comes to satisfy her remembrance more strongly.
Out damn spot! Out, I say! 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie! A soldier and afeard, what need we fear? Who knows it when none can call our power to account? Yet, who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fief had a wife. Where is she now? What? Will these hands never be clean? No more of that, my lord. No more of that. You mar all with this starting.
You should know when you should not.
She has spoke what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh. Oh. Oh.
The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my body for the dignity of the whole body.
This disease is beyond my practice.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on's grave. To bed, to bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come, 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 give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed, to bed, to bed.
Well, she gone out to bed?
Directly.
More needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her. And so good night, for my mind has made it and amazed my sight.
Good night, good doctor.
The English power comes near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenge burns in them.
Near Burnham Wood shall we well meet them. That way are they coming?
What does the tyrant?
Great Duncan says he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad, others that lesser hate him call it valiant fury. But one for certain, he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule.
Now does he feel his secret murders sticking to his hands. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him, the giant's robe upon a dwarvish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed, and with him pour each drop of us into our country's purge.
Or so much as it needs, to do the sovereign flower and drown the weed.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. The Burnham Woodrow to Duncanane I cannot take with fear. What's this boy, Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born a woman shall ever have power upon thee. The heart I bear shall never sag with doubt.
My lord, there's 10,000 souls.
What? Soldiers?
English force, so it please you.
Doctor, I am sick at heart. That which should accompany old age as honor, love, obedience, friends I shall not look to have. But in their stead curses not loud but deep. Caithness!
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight. From my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me mine armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
Give me my armor. And those that talk of fear. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from rest.
Thou not minister to a mind diseased?
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
No physics to the dogs, all none of it! If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, purge her disease, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud itself again. Pull it off, I say. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Duncanane!
Were I from Duncanane, away and clear, prophet should hardly draw me here.
Cousins, I hope the day is near at hand where chambers will be safe.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers in our host, and make discovery. Aaron report of us.
We learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Duncanane, and shall endure our setting down before it.
'Tis main hope, where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrain things, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches, it will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe.
on the outward walls. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord.
I've almost forgotten. Time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek. Now I have supped full with many more. Caithness cannot once start me.
Wherefore was that cry?
Queen, my lord, is dead.
There would have been a time for such a word. Should have died hereafter. Tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious, my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move toward Dunsinane.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if not be it so within this 3-mile may you see it coming. I say a moving grove.
I pull in resolution. I begin to doubt the equivocation of this fiend that lies like truth. Arm! Arm, and go out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is nor flying eggs nor tarrying here!
Now is near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show those like you are.
Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight? Let us be beaten, if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath. Those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
They've tied me to a stake. And I'll fly. Bear like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one might have fear, or none!
What is thy name?
Thou be afraid to hear it, traitorous thing!
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear. Ah!
Thou wouldst born of woman. Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do better upon them!
This way, my lord, the castle's gently rendered. The day itself almost professes yours.
We have met with foes that strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
That way the noise is. Tyrant, show thy face. If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghost will haunt me still. Let me find him. Fortune more I beg not! Turn, hellhound, turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee. But get thee back. My soul is much too charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out. Ah!
Ugh! Thou losest labor. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crest. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee. Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be the tongue that tells me so, and be these juggling fiends no more believed. Keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show of gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rare monsters are, painted upon a pole and underwrit. Here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet. Though Burnham White become to Dunes and thou oppose being of no woman born, and I will try the last. Lay on, Macduff, and damn be he that first cries hold! Enough!
Ah!
Ah! Ugh!
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum.
I would the friends we missed were safe arrived.
Macduff is missing, and the noble Ross.
The Thane of Ross has paid a soldier's debt.
Then he is dead.
Aye.
He's worth more sorrow.
than that.
All spent for him.
Hail, King! For so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. And what's more, we will call home our exiled friends abroad, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her own life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place.
Et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo.
I'd light a fire beside the skin and dig a hole for bones to lay. Find a sacred resting place where the pecking hens won't harm the eyes. Home, home, the air I breathe. Home, home, the air I breathe. It's not enough for me to wait for the open skies to fill with him. It's my kind to fill the air with broken, empty hymn. There's a blade of grass. There are the things I ate. It's remnants on my chest. The bones, the flesh I integrate. Home, home, the air I breathe. Home, home, the air I breathe.
Hello, audience people. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to remind you that we do still have a donate little button in the YouTube description if you want to give anything to help us continue to do this mission. We'd greatly appreciate it. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Fruitvale Optometry, as well as the Alameda Children's Musical Theater, who was really helpful to us this year and always. And I really want to also point out that this cast has one more performance tomorrow at 2, which will be the final TYR youth performance of the school year. So if you know anyone who missed it and wants to watch our final live performance, that'll be tomorrow at 2. Our summer registration is open, and thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.